Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Sean, I'm sorry. Was Alvin Kamara in the building every day he was required to be this week?
Well, look, not getting into the specifics. Obviously, everyone's here to get tested uh, outside in the parking lot first, and then we kind of go from there. So we're actively negotiating a contract with he and his agent, and we'll keep you posted if there's any progress.
Did you fine him for missing practice?
If I did, I wouldn't tell you.
If you guys don't reach a contract agreement, do you foresee this being something where maybe he doesn't play week 1?
I think that's a little previous right now. We're focused on him being a part of our plan week 1.
Sean, say something that he is actually at practice with you guys today. Does that say anything to you?
No, look, it was good having him back out there. I thought he had a good practice today, and he's an important part of what we do.
Sean, were you at all frustrated with how this played out, and did you two have to talk and sort of make amends, as I know a couple of reports have characterized it?
No, I haven't read specifically any reports, and I don't think he and I have had. We visited, but I wouldn't call it making amends at all.
Gail was back at practice today. She gave you some grief after you tested positive. What has your conversations been with her?
Say that again.
Gail was at practice today. What was your conversation like with her today?
It was good. It was good to see her. She's feeling better. I know she was excited to finally be able to get out and be around our players, and she's feeling good. And yeah, obviously, anytime someone's gone through it, you love to see them back and in good health and good spirits. And I would describe our visit that way. It was great seeing her.
Sean, what did you see in Marcus Davenport today, and has he sort of fallen behind where he should be? Where would you say his status is right
No,
now?
listen, I think he's doing well. I think he's had a real good camp. So I don't think he's fallen behind. You know, we backed off some reps probably a few days ago, just relative to a small injury, but nothing significant. Nothing that would certainly keep him from playing week 1.
Sean, Thursday's dome practice. Have you decided on the format? Is it going to be, scrimmage like, or is it going to be more like Saturday practice?
No, we're going to try to get a lot of move the ball periods in. You know, one of the things that I think is going to be important for every team in this league week 1 is the substitutions. You know, it's not uncommon in the preseason where periodically you're missing a guy or you have 12 on the field. All of those mistakes, really have to be eliminated. And even today, we went through a few different periods where we were in and out, on and off with different personnel groups. So tomorrow's goal is to get a lot of move the ball in. It won't be a completely live scrimmage, but it will be full go. And we'll meet on that today and kind of go through the different roles and the different substitutions.
Sean, it's safety. Would PJ fit more of the free mold or stronger? Is he a little bit of both?
I didn't hear the beginning. I'm sorry.
PJ Williams is safety. Would you call him more of a free or strong, or is he good at both?
Look, he's a smart player. I feel like he can play in both those positions. He's one of the few players that we feel like can go outside and play at the corner position. Certainly, he's had a lot of experience at the nickel, and so that's one of those players that we discussed earlier here a week ago that provides really good versatility. I would probably say more at free, but we feel like he's smart enough to play in both of those positions.
Sean, now that you've had a couple of weeks to work with Jameis, how do you think he's progressing now that he's in this new offense and all that?
I think he's doing well. I think he's doing real well. I've been pleased. Man, he's in good shape. I think he's very quickly picked up what we're doing from a system standpoint. And yet there are a number of things that he continues to work on to improve. But I think he's made that transition with us pretty quickly. He's a smart player, and we just got to continue to give him the reps. He and Taysom both got really most of the work today.
And having the ability to sit Drew and let Drew rest, what does that give you as far as opportunity, getting an extended look at both Taysom and Jameis?
I mean, it's the one thing that both of them need, and that's just game experience or game-like reps in practice. And I thought, throughout camp, with just 3 quarterbacks, we've been able to do that to some extent, and then even more so today.
Sean, what kind of camp do you think Keith Washington has had?
I think really well. Look, the uniqueness in the player is he can come into a game, he can function very well at running back, and then I think. Now, I'm sorry, you said Keith or Dwayne?
I said Keith.
Okay. I think, look, he's got very good ball production. You can see he's got good hands, so I'd say really good. All right, thank you guys.
First question's from Amy Just. Amy?
Hey, Andrus. Back at practice for a couple days. What's it like to get back, being able to practice?
Yeah, definitely felt good to be back out there, and everything feels good, and just continue to work and try to get better each day.
Do you have to wear any brace or anything when you're practicing?
Yeah, I'm protecting my thumb, but I'm not really gonna go into like what's on it, but definitely protecting it.
Next question's from John Shazer.
Andrus, your conditioning seems to be pretty significant and noticeable. How do you feel like that's going to help you this season and on in your NFL career?
Yeah, definitely. I really try to put an emphasis on that this off season. Really starting off with just the weight room and conditioning. So I feel like it's definitely gonna be beneficial just being able to finish blocks and sustain and feel more athletic and feel better out there. So it's definitely gonna be good.
Next question is from Luke Johnson.
Did you lose weight this offseason, or did you just kind of change your body composition? How would you kind of explain that?
Yeah, I probably lost around like 10 or 15 pounds. This offseason from the end of last year.
Next question is from Nick Underhill.
Andrus, guard, does it make any difference to you who's playing at center? Is there a chemistry factor there where you got to get used to both those guys, or is it just kind of, whatever?
Yeah, just wherever the coaches feel is best for those guys to play. It doesn't really matter to me. So, just trusting the coaches are going to put them in the right position. So it's either way. We're going to go out there and make it work.
Next question from Amy Just.
Yeah, with you slimming down and being at practice the last couple days, is there any place where it's noticeable, the difference for you?
I can't pinpoint one thing. I'll just say overall, just feeling better. Just having more energy and just feeling a little quicker.
Next question is from Luke Johnson.
Hey, I'm sorry to keep hammering on how good you look, man, but was there like a diet change this offseason? Like, how did you go about actually kind of cutting down on some of the weight?
It really wasn't a diet change. I just really I started training like right after the last game, so obviously I missed some time during the season and came back for the last game and a half, so I felt pretty fresh overall, besides my arm that I had surgery on. But I'd probably just say just hitting it pretty hard right after not really taking a break and just getting straight to it, and just diet wise just just trying to make good decisions, but nothing like spectacular.
Okay, I think we're all set. Thanks, Andrus.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What's
How
up?
are you?
Good. How are you?
Morstead with us. If you guys have a question, just put it in the chat and we can get started. Thanks. First question is from Amy Just.
Hey, Thomas.
Hi, Amy.
So it's been a while, I guess, since you've had a rookie punter alongside you. What has that been like in kind of teaching him the ropes, especially during such a weird preseason?
Well, look, I think, I made a commitment to myself a long time ago that, at some point in my career, they'd start bringing in young guys to come compete and push me. And I made the commitment to myself that I would mentor them just like I had been mentored when I was a younger player, even though I'm competing with them. And so it's been a joy. It's definitely pushed me. Blake's a very talented young player, and he's got a bright future. And I hope that he's had a good experience, training alongside me and competing with me. I've tried to give him help and information and experiences that I've learned from, because people did that for me when I was a young player. And so it's a little bit of a trick bag when you're competing with somebody to do that, but it's just kind of the way I always promised myself I would do it when I was in this situation. So it's been good.
Next question's from Luke Johnson.
Hey, Thomas, we asked Will about this, but I'm curious if it's at all different for you kicking in an empty stadium without fans in there. If you thought about that, does that change anything for you at all?
Well, I guess, yeah, we've thought about it. Tried to maybe foresee circumstances that could be different, or, if you can really hear individuals on the other sideline. Normally you can't. It's just a big, gray noise, or, varying levels of volume, but you can't kind of pick out individual things that are being said. So that could change. I'll be interested to see how specialists around the league handle that. But, at the end of the day, whether there's fans or not, the field's the same. And, I don't foresee it being much different as far as my process goes. The energy in there will be different for sure, and we'll miss that. But I don't see my process being any different.
Next one's from Catherine Terrell.
I just want to know if Lutz actually missed those 2 field goals at practice today, because there was some discussion on the sideline as to whether the officials were incorrect in saying they were a miss. I don't know if you were paying attention.
Yeah, I'll let Will comment on that.
All right, I'll take that as a no comment.
No, all I do is catch the ball and I put it on the spot. I don't even watch to see if it goes in. So.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We were talking about that on the sideline for a little bit. One person had the perspective that he thought he made all 4, and the other one, being me, thought the officials were correct. But when that's your biggest discussion, probably had a pretty good practice,
Yeah, we coach threw a wrench in there today. We had our backup snapper in there throwing some heat. Josh Hill did a good job for us, so that was good.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Well, now I want to ask about Josh Hill, the snapper, but I'll go with my initial line of questioning. Have you always took such good care of your body? Has this been like kind of a thing that you transformed throughout the course of your career to kind of lengthen your career, or has this always been like a priority for you?
I think there's 2 ways to answer that. I would say it's always been a priority, and there's not some sort of mecca that you arrive at where you've figured it out, right? So it's kind of a constant journey of trying to find little edges that you can do to improve. Your body changes over time, and you have to focus on different things. So you're always trying to find the most efficient path towards getting yourself geared up to play on a Sunday. So I would say it's always been a priority, and it's continued to change over time. The process changes, the way I train, the way I've eaten. some years you're dealing with a little nagging thing, and that may change your routine. So at the end of the day, I think it's all about having a beginner's mentality and, always trying to unearth the next thing that can help you get a better edge, whether it's with your recovery, nutrition. I mean, all of it dials to being ready to play on a Sunday for 3 hours. So hopefully that answers your question.
Well, it does. But do you think doing that and making sure you are always dialed in like that has an impact on like your longevity? Do you think? I mean, you still probably got some years ahead of you. But
well, thanks. I appreciate it. I think, all of it adds up, right? It's like no different than if you have bad sleep or bad diet for an extended period of time, like some of that stuff is irrecoverable, right? So even if you like turn things around and start doing great, you've taken more tread off the tires, and that tread doesn't just magically appear back on. So I think the answer is yes, that it helps with longevity, and I think being locked in and all that stuff is, there's always a young cat that's coming in with a big leg every year, and so I think it helps with the longevity of just being locked in and being as consistent and steady as possible day in and day out.
Next one's from Doug Mouton.
Yeah, hey, Thomas. As the player rep, would you say you and the guys on the team have generally been okay and satisfied with all the coronavirus protocols? And does it get to a point where you've almost gotten used to it at this point and it's not that big of a... How would you describe sort of where you guys stand now? And most importantly, are you guys okay with everything as it stands now?
Well, I can't answer for all my teammates. All I can say is that I think we're testing league-wide. We've had really few guys get it, so that's good. I would say that everybody had the opportunity to opt out and not play. So if guys weren't okay with it and are playing, I don't know what to say other than everyone had a decision to make to do that. I'm personally think the protocols that are in place are more than enough. I think, some of the things, I won't get into specifics, so don't ask me, but I think some of it's a little bit of optics to show that we're all intending to do the right thing as best we can. But I also think they've done a great job of trying to minimize every sort of, all the micro contacts. You're not going to mitigate everything, but in every area that you can, they've tried to do their best to mitigate. And so I'm personally happy with the protocols that are in place, and I think you're seeing the results of that so far. And at the end of the day, we're depending on personal behavior and personal responsibility to, everybody's got skin in the game. No one wants to be the guy that brings coronavirus into the locker room and gets a player or maybe an older coach or an older staff person sick. And so I think everybody's so far showing that we're able to handle that personal responsibility, and I just really hope that players and coaches and staff and everybody in the building continues to be as diligent with all of those protocols as possible and to not relax, because the goal is to have the season go all the way to the Super Bowl.
But as a player rep, you haven't heard complaints from any players. Would that be correct to say?
There's never been one thing that we've passed as a union that has had no players gripe about. So, no, I would say that's never 100%. There's always players there's 2,000 of us, so there's always pieces to it that players don't like or not happy with or feel like it could be done a better way. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Next one's from John DeSager.
Thomas, this might be a little bit of an odd question, but I think your parents have attended all of your games since back in college. What are they going to do this season, or how are you guys navigating that?
They've missed 5 games in my career, but I'm not counting or anything. and they are actually out of the country because my mom got a really awesome job opportunity, and so they'll be missing many of the games regardless of COVID. So I'm gonna have to have my wife make the brownies every week because the team's depending on it.
All right, I think that wraps it up. Thanks, Thomas.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys, appreciate it.
Hey, how we doing?
Good. You hear me all right?
Yes, I can see you, and I can
Perfect.
hear you.
All right. You guys have questions for Jameis? Just put it in the chat and we'll get started. First one's from John Sazier.
Jameis, how you doing?
Hey.
Jameis, Coach Payton was saying how you've pretty much grasped the offense. Can you give us a rundown of how you feel like you've acclimated to what they're trying to give you and teach you?
Well, my main goal is to come in and do the best I possibly can. And when you got two great quarterbacks who's been in this system for a long time, one of them for a particularly long time, you get a chance to gain experience by seeing them, by getting visual reps and actually doing the reps yourself.
Next question's from Amy Just.
Yeah, when we've asked your teammates about, how you are in the huddle, all of them get this big smile on their face. Is there something that happened or a backstory as to why everybody is just so happy and is laughing when they think about you?
Well, one thing we're going to do is we're going to have a lot of fun, but with that fun, we want to make sure that we want to execute properly. We want to make sure we're giving our best effort. So when I'm in a huddle, I'm just making sure everyone takes a deep breath and make sure they're having fun and getting ready to go.
Next one's from Mike Triplett.
Jameis, can you just talk in general about how you think you're playing right now and how strange it is to be in a camp with another team for the first time?
Well, just in terms of my performance, my goal is to get better every single day. I believe I've done that from the first day I stepped foot in here into this facility to today. So that's my main goal. I can evaluate performance later on, but right now my focus is getting better every single day.
And as for being with a new team
every
day?
Man, I'm just so blessed that I get a chance to be a part of a locker room like this. Yeah, I know I was the enemy the past 5 years, but man, these guys have really took me in, and I got a chance to gain a lot of great friends. It helps having a great friend in P.J. Williams and teammates, Mario Edwards. But this team is just amazing, man, and I'm just blessed to be a part of the Saints organization.
And can you talk a little about what you did before camp started to get acclimated to this offense without having OTAs and minicamp?
I think it just was visually. One thing that was great is I had Tony. Tony is our running back number 37. He actually lived in Tampa, so we were able to kind of go through things together and kind of go through the learning stages with each other. And it's always good to have you a nice running back so you can know where your check down is when it's time to go out there and play with them.
Next question's from Luke Johnson.
Jameis, this is the 15th season that Drew and Sean are working together. I just was wondering what your kind of read is on their relationship being a newcomer onto this team.
Man, I think it's not just with Sean, it's with the whole coaching staff. It's with Joe, it's with Pete. You just feel the continuity, and a lot of people talk about unity. But man, these guys are really a family, and I'm just happy to be embraced by this family and being allowed to kind of see firsthand, how this team has been so successful and how this quarterback has been one of the greatest quarterbacks to play this game.
Next question's from Christopher Dennels.
Hey, Jameis, you set a pretty high expectation there when you were joining the Saints, calling it a Harvard education on quarterbacking. So I'm just curious if it's lived up to your expectations so far, and if you think you've been learning a lot about how to play the quarterback position from people like Sean and like Drew.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They haven't shortchanged me one bit, and Taysom's included in that mix. Like I said, this coaching staff, offensively, these quarterbacks, our quarterback room is probably one of the best quarterback rooms in the league. So I'm definitely blessed to be a part of that group.
Next one's from Doug Mouton.
Yeah, hey, Jameis. When you came into this locker room for the first time, in your other stops, you have always been the guy. Did you come in sort of with the idea that, you know what, I want to make sure these guys get who I am? You know what I mean? Because your personality seems to have come across in a big way on the team early on. Was that something you said before you got here? I want to make sure that I come in a good mood and all those kind of things. Was that something you actively tried to do?
Well, no, Doug. I think the only thing that I try to do is to serve. I think that's an important part of leadership. I see number 9 doing it every single day. Just find a way I can serve each and every one of my teammates, whether it's on the offensive side of the ball, whether it's on the defensive side of the ball. If I can serve them and get a give back in return, it just would be respect. And as long as you're genuine with these guys, like a spade can call a spade, right? So as long as I'm serving, and I'm just trying to be the best teammate I possibly can be.
And I'm guessing there's a value to having guys as loose as possible, right? I mean, in your experience, guys play better if you can keep them loose.
Well, that just comes with having a veteran locker room. When you got great leaders like Drew and DeMario Davis and you got Marcus and you got Craig Robertson. I mean, you got all these guys who just, they take pride in this organization first and foremost, and they just take pride in their day-to-day job. When you got a punter like like Timo, who's working out harder than everyone else on the team, you just fall in line and see how you can serve those guys and let those guys do what they do best.
Next one's from Amy Just.
And natural follow-up to that, Michael Thomas, he's always bringing intensity, super competitive. Like the other day, he wanted the ref to call a push-off in practice. What do you see from your perspective as to what he brings to the offense and making every position there better?
Well, I just think, like you said, that tenacity, that will to compete, the guy wants to win every single play. And that's why he's been successful in this league since he's got here. So I'm excited to have a teammate like that guy. Everyone wants a teammate that wants to win, that wants to compete. And he's just going to continue to get better and better as his years count up.
Next one's from Amos Morale.
Yeah, Jameis, I know when you signed with the team, you kind of talked a little bit about some of the off-season changes you made in terms of, I guess, the LASIK, but also your diet and your workout plan. Have you noticed any of the, or are you reaping any of the benefits of that now that you're in training camp and you're doing real football activities?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to just training, obviously it's always like the good book says, you reap what you sow, and definitely by changing up my diet and going all out this off season, you definitely see the improvements, and the LASIK has definitely helped me out, just seeing a clearer picture. But one of the best things I get, man, it's a privilege again to be in that quarterback room and see firsthand from one of the best that's ever done it, and that experience alone is an experience you really can't put your finger on. But I can just say that I'm blessed and privileged to have that opportunity.
Next one's from Mike Triplett.
Just to follow up on that, are you lighter than you've been in your NFL career?
Yes, I am.
What are you playing at right now?
225.
And I wanted to ask, how do you describe your risk-reward style? Obviously, that was a big topic last season, but we've seen you in training camp, and you're obviously not afraid to take those big shots. I mean, is that always going to be a part of your game? Do you want it to always continue to be a part of your game?
I think it's a happy medium in that I'm never going to shy away from playing the football the way that I know how to play. But within that, like I said, man, you get to learn from a guy that does it so well, and you get to talk to him about situations that he will take a chance versus situations that he will not.
So I think that's great to just see him and visualize myself doing the same thing.
Last question's from Nick Underhill.
What's your evaluation of that first team secondary and what makes them so difficult to go against?
I think the best thing about our defense as a whole is the competitiveness, the live action, how we're really going after it during practice, and it goes beyond practice, man. We're taking the competitive side on the field into the locker room, and anytime that you got guys that are willing to talk about the details and bring that competition from on the football field into the locker room and really joke about it, have fun about it, but really be intentional about what they're saying. It's really fun to be around. It really makes the atmosphere contagious. And our defense, I played against this defense for a long time, and you love the way that they handle the disciplines of being defense. They run to the football, they find a way to create turnovers, and they stop the run. So being able to practice against this defense is definitely big for any quarterback.
All set. Thanks, Jameis.
All right, thanks, guys.
There you go. Thank you. Hey, thanks.